Hi, um, welcome to Physics 3A. My name is Alan Nickel and I'm the instructor for the course. And I'm looking forward to teaching Physics 3A. I enjoy physics very much. I enjoy working with students, discussing physics. Physics is an important part of kind of a foundational course for a lot of different majors. And so I'm guessing most of you are here because this is some sort of a requirement for the major that you've chosen. Um, what I want to do with this video is we'll be going through the syllabus, and going through the schedule for the course to get an idea of how the course will be structured, get an idea of what the expectations will be for the course. I do want to start out by kind of introducing you guys to our textbook, Physics for Scientists and Engineers with Modern Physics by Giancoli. This is the 4th edition. And it's kind of the core, the foundation of the course of both Physics 3A and Physics 3B. So once you get the textbook, you'll be covered for both semesters. So let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule and at the syllabus. I did want to point out that our course mascot, Laney the Eagle, is here and may be showing up from time to time during the course. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the with kind of the course overview. So once again, welcome to Physics 3A. We're going to now take a look at the syllabus for the course, the schedule for the course. We'll talk a little bit about the course. We've got our textbook is here with us, so we'll be able to refer to that. Also, Laney the Eagle, our course mascot, is here, so put Laney here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the course. So this is Physics 3A. My name is Dr. Alan Nickel. I've been teaching here at Laney College for a long time, like 25 years or something, and it's been great. You know, I've really enjoyed it. The topics that we'll be looking at in the course, we're going to start out looking at motion, which is called kinematics. We're going to be looking at forces and how they're related to acceleration. We'll get a fairly detailed look at gravitational forces. We'll discuss energy and momentum, rotational motion and what we call rotational dynamics, fluids, how they behave, oscillatory motion, wave motion, sound, and then we have a good look at thermodynamics. So it's a bunch of really interesting topics, and again, I'm guessing that because of whatever major you're in, you're being asked to take Physics 3A and Physics 3B so that you have a solid foundation in these areas. So let's take a look at the syllabus. So on the left here, I have what I'm going to call the syllabus. On the right, it's the homework assignments for the semester. Now, all this stuff is going to be posted on Canvas, so you can always refer back to Canvas. This stuff will be included. So on the syllabus here, there's my full name, Neil Alan Nickel. There's my email address where you can contact me. So you can contact me through Canvas, or you can contact me directly at this email address. Either way works. Office hours are going to be, we're going to try some different things with office hours for the fall. The way that I've set up these online courses, and this course is, it's entirely online. So all of the lectures, all of the lab activities, you can access those through Canvas. Now, my intention is to fully support that with lots and lots of office hours. So what I've done is I've kind of looked for times where, I can just be available for a good long period of time. And then students can stop by and ask questions. They can just drop by the Zoom that we have set up for the course. And so that works really well. In fact, I think one of the first assignments I'll probably ask everyone to just stop by during one of the office hours, just so that we can meet each other, and that I can make sure that you're familiar with the resources we have in terms of dropping by during office hours. All right, so I'm going to start off with, I don't know if these are crazy office hours or not, but I'm going to try starting off with actually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now that sounds a little crazy because our schedule is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but at least for the first week or so, I'm going to try this schedule. Now what I found from past semesters is that there's a good number of students that actually like stopping by early. And so I have offered office hours starting at 7 a.m. So I'm going to start off with that on Mondays and Fridays until 11. So I'll have the entire morning available for office hours. And then on Wednesdays I'm going to shift that and be available on the afternoons. And at some point we may find that we need to work some Tuesdays and Thursdays in there, and possibly some weekends. You know, I've had some comments from students suggesting maybe a day on a Saturday or a Sunday would be good, because that's often when students are doing a lot of the studying. And so I'm going to be thinking about that too. So again, for better or worse, the office hours are going to be possibly shifting back and forth some this semester. So if you've got suggestions, go ahead, email those to me, or just get in touch, stop by one of the office hours and make suggestions as to when other office hours might be useful. Officially, there's a prerequisite of Math 3A. Now that's first semester calculus. And so, as many of you already know, the majors that you're working, or the majors that you're in, require a physics series that requires some calculus. So it's that first semester. If there's any questions about that prerequisite, let me know. Sometimes students run into difficulties with, you know, they've met the prerequisite somewhere else, or whatever. Anyway, if there's ever a question about any of the stuff going on in the course, stop by and or email me, or stop by office hours, and let's get that looked at. So the textbook I had introduced, it's Physics for Scientists and Engineers with Modern Physics. Now, if you get the full version that I'm holding up right now, this is it has 44 chapters in it. And we are going to be looking at all of those chapters. Now, what you might be thinking is, wait a minute, isn't that too much? And it actually is. So some of you may be aware that we actually use the same physics textbook in Physics 3A and 3B that we use in the 4A, 4B, and 4C series. Now, what we do is in the 3A, 3B series, we limit, we hit all the same topics, but we limit kind of the depth in 3A and 3B. We've only got 2 semesters, and we have to get through all the same topics that the 4A, 4B, 4C students do in 3 semesters. We just don't look at them in quite as much depth. And so, in particular, where you'll see this is in the homework assignments. So when you look at the homework problems that you're required to do, what you'll find is it's kind of at a medium level of difficulty. So from time to time, we'll try one of the more difficult sorts of either lecture examples or whatever. But for the most part, we are going to be hitting these different topics at kind of a mid-level of difficulty. So it's going to be a really thorough course. It does require a lot of work. But I think for the most part, students coming out of the 3A and 3B classes are pretty happy with the way the courses have gone. They've learned a lot of stuff. That's definitely our goal. And that you'll be well prepared when you get ready to transfer into whatever programs you're transferring into. So we do have very good feedback from students that, you know, once they've transferred to those 4-year schools, they find that they're pretty well prepared, you know, compared, well, with other students in the classes that they're taking at the four-year schools. So we want to give you guys that really solid foundation so that you know, you move on, you transfer to the four-year schools, and you'll be very successful there. So again, if there's ever a question of kind of what level of difficulty is required in the course, you know, take a look at the homework problems. They'll give you a good idea. The other place to look is in the lectures. So as you're going through the lectures, the examples that I've included in the lectures for the Physics 3A class are, you know, at the level of Physics 3A. So those will also give you a good idea of what the level of difficulty is for the course. The official times for the lectures are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1, that's okay, that's got to get changed. Okay, the lectures are not from 1 to 3 a.m. That's a mistake. That's supposed to be p.m. They're not even at that time. So, okay. I always proofread these like 4 or 5 times. Something always slips through. In any case, no, the lectures aren't from 1 to 3. The lectures have actually been pre-recorded. So I have been working on getting all the lectures completed for Physics 3A. So I've put together a set of video lectures, and I've put together a set of slides that go along with those lectures. So use both. You know, watch the videos, have the slides out, and as needed, pause the video, go back and work through some of the examples. If questions come up, stop by office hours and we can get those looked at. So we're trying to, you know, provide enough resources to make sure that you guys can be very successful in the course, and that there'll be a good amount of flexibility. So you've got to stay caught up in the course, but there's a lot of flexibility as to how you'll be scheduling your time as you make your way through the course. Okay, boy, I've really got to get that changed. The laboratory officially is Tuesdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Now this is as if we were back on campus, right? But we're not. And so the lab activities, also the lab exercises, what I've done, and I'm still kind of in the process of this, but what I've, well, I'm going to say by the time you guys watch this video, what I will have completed is a set of laboratory exercises. So you'll be able to watch the videos of me in the lab room. I am everybody's lab partner, is what it comes down to. So I'm going to be in the lab room, going over the labs, presenting an overview of what the lab is intended, you know, what we're going to be doing for the day. And then you'll also, with those videos, you'll be able to see me in the lab room making measurements, writing stuff down. So what I'm going to provide for you in Canvas is you can watch the lab videos. So watch them. It's going to be important to understand what went on in lab for the day. You guys are going to need to be able to write up lab reports. Make sure that you it's fine to work with other students. It's great. So if you have a kind of a study group that you work together with, that works really well. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to do all of the homework examples, all the lecture examples independently. You also, with the lab, want to be able to understand everything that we did in lab for that day. That's just an essential part of the course. So, and it does happen, you know, sometimes students kind of let other students take charge, or they're really heavily depending on the work that other students are doing. And, you know, when it comes time to write up those lab reports, or when it comes time to take the exams, the midterms or the final exam, that foundation just isn't in place. So make sure right now, tell yourself a couple things. First of all, I'm going to stay caught up in the course. I am not going to fall behind. When I look at that first week of lectures and homework, I'm going to make sure that gets done. And then follow that up week by week. So with the, for the homework, there will be an assignment assignment for each chapter. Now, I'm not going to be collecting homework. You guys are going to be responsible for making sure that you get through the homework on your own and that you understand it. And so, my encouragement here is always to tell students that you got to make sure that you understand the homework problems, find your way through that, stop by office hours as needed, and then maybe rework problems. So sometimes students go, but I've already done those problems. Why would I go back and redo them? Because you learn a lot of stuff going back through them again. So I'm going to say, go make sure that you're doing all the homework problems, and then probably revisiting all of those problems, going back through, making sure you understand everything that went into that. With the labs, the reports, I'm going to talk about the reports a bit, I guess. They should be informative and as concise as possible. So there's no need to go on for pages and pages and pages with the lab reports. Once we start the labs, along with Lab 1, we'll be going over the labs and talking a little bit about what the expectations are for lab reports. And so at that time, with that video, I'll be going over some of the expectations. And it may take a week or two to kind of settle in on what the expectations are for lab reports. So especially during those first couple weeks, I'll be making a lot of comments on the lab reports, and make sure you're reading the comments that I provide. So within Canvas, and I've had this happen before with some students going, I don't see any of the comments, so you have to know where to go with the assignments. So going to assignments, and then there is a place where you can click that I think it's called instructor feedback, something like that. So make sure that you're looking at the comments that I've provided. Those are going to be really important for kind of focusing in on what things you really need to understand, and how you're going to get full credit for the lab reports. Okay, so adjust as needed. So the homework, the lab reports. Now the midterms we already have scheduled. We're going to have 4 midterms during the semester. What we'll be doing is we'll go for about 4 weeks, and then we'll have a midterm, and then we'll go another 4 weeks and have another midterm. So the semesters are like 16 weeks long, 17 if you count finals. And so during the first 4 weeks, we will be completing chapters 1 through 6, and then the next 4 weeks, next 4 weeks, next 4 weeks. And then you can see the dates for those midterms. Now the midterms will be synchronous, so there will be designated times for the midterms. Those will be carried out at the times of the lectures. So the midterm dates and times, those are firm. And so for the midterms, what I'll be doing is, at the time of the midterms, I will be emailing out the midterms, and you will have 2 hours to complete the midterm, and then you'll submit those midterms to Canvas. So I'll be emailing out the midterms and also posting them to Canvas. And so you want to have a way where you can, quickly receive those midterms and be prepared to write down whatever, to do your work on the midterm and then return that. So as we get closer to the midterms, we'll talk more about that. We'll have some reviews of looking at previous semester midterms, just to get a feel for what the structure is going to be. And then the final exam is scheduled for, and I think this is a Tuesday, I'll have to look and see, December 16th, oh maybe it's a Thursday actually, December 13th, that would be chapters, that's the whole course. So the textbook does include 44 chapters, and during 3A we're going to be looking at chapters 1 through 20, and then during 3B we'll be looking at chapters 21 through 44. So we are going to make it all the way through through the textbook. As you follow along with the lectures, you'll start to get a feel for, again, the level of kind of the depth of the examples that you should be able to work through as part of your homework. The grades for the course are based on this. The midterms are going to count towards 60% of the grade. Now, we have 4 midterms. I don't drop any of the midterms. So I know that often students will have other classes that allow you to drop a midterm, maybe replace the midterm with the score on the final, something like that. But what I want to do is, right from the start, I want to get set up so that you guys are thinking in terms of not falling behind, making sure that you're staying caught up through the course. So all of the midterms will count. If there's an absolute emergency that comes up, as soon as you know you will not be able to attend one of the midterms, let me know right away, and we'll schedule a make-up midterm. We'll work something out so we can accommodate whatever emergency you've had that has come up. So all 4 of the midterms will be counted. That means that each midterm is 15% of the overall grade for the course. Now, the final exam will be 20% of the overall grade, and then the lab activities, which is primarily the lab reports, are going to be the additional 20%. So that's how the grading will be divided up for the semester. Now, homework is not included as part of the grading. I encourage, everybody should be doing all of the homework. And then what also you can find is there are solution manuals available online if you search around for our textbook. So I would highly encourage you guys to track those down, make sure that you have access, maybe talk to other students and find out where these are. It's not something that necessarily I am supposed to be involved with, but it's very useful to be able to have solution manuals that you can work from. That way you can get more immediate feedback. Now you can always stop by office hours and we can always go through and take a look at whatever questions you guys have. So the grades. If, once we've completed all of the midterms and the lab reports and the final, combined them all together using the weighting scheme we have here, 85 to 100 is an A, 70 to 85 is a B, and 50 to 70 is a C. Now, sometimes students say, well, wow, that's a very generous grading scale. But what we're going to find is that the midterms, the final, and the lab reports too, are all going to be pitched at a fairly high level. And so we rather than have an exam or a midterm with the expectation that maybe everybody is going to be in the 90s, we're really not thinking in those terms. And I feel like this is going to prepare you a lot for, again, transfer to four-year schools. If you're a science major, for example, if you're a biology major or whatever, a chemistry major at a four-year school, you're going to find that the averages on exams might be in the 50s or 60s. Averages in exams tend not to be in the 80s and 90s at four-year schools, at least not in science and engineering and math courses. And so I think you'll find that this is a pretty, not unusual, a pretty typical range of grades for courses once you're transferred to four-year school. So you can kind of think of this as getting a first look at what those grading scales might be like. All right, I think we've got everything covered here. Let me go ahead and now look at the schedule. So as I was saying, we have a schedule that's set up. It's posted on Canvas. If you ever have any questions about this, let me know. It is outlined with each week of the course. So there are the 16 weeks of instruction and then the final exam week. And then what we're going to find is that we're going to be covering, for the most part, we'll be covering a chapter each day. So we'll look at one of those, one of the chapters, one of the topics within physics, within our textbook. And you'll see that if you go back and look at those homeworks, so there's going to be a homework assignment, a couple of homework assignments due during a typical week. Now again, those don't get submitted, but you have to think in terms of that's your homework. That's what you are obligated to do in staying caught up with the course. And then before we do have a midterm, there's some review lectures where I'll be going over examples of problems that have shown up on past year's midterms. So just to give you an idea of what the format will be. Now on the midterms, you will be allowed to have 1 page of notes, but that's it. So you can't use, of course, you can't use online resources, you can't use your textbook. So you are allowed to have 1 page of notes to work from, and that 1 page of notes will include kind of the physical constants. Once we get into the course and you start seeing what the homework problems look like, you'll have a better idea of what might go into that 1 page of notes that you're looking at. So again, we've pretty much got each day accounted for. If you go into Canvas, Canvas is going to be organized in terms of chapters. And so, and then along with each chapter, there will be some number of lectures, and the dates will be listed. And so what you can do is you can look through all of the chapters of the textbook and see which dates you should be completing those videos. Now, if you go farther through Canvas, so if you start at the top of Canvas, which is where you are now, I guess, at getting started, right below that is office hours. And so you can go to office hours. There will be links that you can go to in order to enter one of the ConfraZoom office hour meetings, and then you can just stop by. So I'm guessing most of you at this point have a lot of experience in working with ConfraZoom or working with Zoom sort of meetings. So there's going to be, and then if you scroll down farther in Canvas, what you'll see all of the lectures, and those are going to be organized by chapter. They're organized by topic. Now, if you continue scrolling down, so scroll all the way down, then you'll see the lab activities. So there's a bunch of stuff for the chapters. There are the midterms and the finals are scheduled with those. And then at the very bottom, you'll see the lab activities listed for the semester. And again, I'm still in the process. I'm hoping by the time you guys view this, they'll be in place. I know that I've got the thermodynamics labs already in place, so if you want to look at some of the lab activities in more detail, scroll all the way down and take a look at those last several lab activities to get an idea. All right, I think that's it. Everything is outlined here. We've got, we do have a couple of holidays here. We have Thanksgiving, we have Veterans Day. I guess we don't have, since we're a Tuesday, Thursday class, Labor Day is not included. And then, you can start planning and scheduling things to think of where you'll be as you make your way through the course. So again, welcome to Physics 3A. Let's work together and make sure you're staying caught up. I will make sure that I, as best I can, have everything organized for you so you can work through these different lecture videos, through the different laboratory videos and exercises, stop by office hours whenever questions come up. So again, take care and best wishes for the semester.